Morning, sir.
No.
All right.
Hey, this is I haven't been to bed since last night.
Up in the Little League program?
No, I spent a lot of time on the different parts of the city.
We're ready. We're good? Okay. All right, we're going to get started because it's not going to get any cooler today. Good morning. My name's Rick Simone. I'm the president of the Federal Hill Commerce Association, and first and foremost, I'd like to welcome everybody to Federal Hill. This is a lot of Renaissance activities have been taking place here over the last year. We're very excited about. So we feel really good to have you all here to talk about the placemaking grants that the governor's going to dive into. I'd like to welcome the governor, Lieutenant Governor, Senator Miller, Commerce Secretary Liz Tanner, who I have to give a massive public congratulations to. Liz and I worked incredibly closely during the pandemic, and she was a true leader for small businesses, someone that I call a good friend, and we are super excited to have you in this position, so congratulations. I'd also like to welcome Town Manager Rossi, Mayor Rivera, Town Administrator Gould, where is he, right there? Mayor De Silva, and any other dignitaries are with us, and also all of my friends that are in the arts, entertainment industry here. Barnaby, I know. Where did I see? Oh my God, I'm losing. There she is, right there. We've got all these people here that are going to be recipients of this. So we appreciate you coming to the Hill. I think this is an exciting thing. I think it's a needed thing for our state. I know that the governor and the lieutenant governor worked very hard to make these programs come to life. And announcing them today is going to make a lot of us very happy through the end of the year, to make the public very happy for the activities that we can create. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce the governor.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you, Rick. It's great to be here on the Hill. At dinner we were here a few weeks back. Encourage everybody to support our small businesses, our restaurants around the state of Rhode Island, and that's what we're here to talk about, is to support our small businesses and our communities around the state. We're making big investments, and today is one of them, and we're making very large investments as well, whether it's in our ports in Galilee, or whether it's in our port in East Providence, or whether it has to do with Quonset, or working in the downtown area here in Providence, or investing now in Pawtucket as the Commerce Corporation has approved that measure to move that project forward. So we're around the whole state, all 39 cities and towns, and that's what's being represented today, as you see with our leaders, our mayors that are here, and along with our town managers and our representatives from our local chambers. So Rick, thank you for your leadership of pulling this together today. A $3 million award today, $3 million to our local communities to continue to create this 365-day destination for the Ocean State and all around the Ocean State. Our state is able to do things year-round, and that's going to help our businesses year-round. And our administration is going to be really dedicated to that effort, whether it's in our Commerce Corporation, whether it's our Lieutenant Governor, whether it has to do with our, all our departments are all geared up to make sure that Rhode Island continues the momentum that it has currently, lowest unemployment rate in the history of the state of Rhode Island, and still jobs available. When you're also working on leading the Northeast in an economic recovery, the reason that we are is the people who have planted the seeds before the pandemic started, and that's why we're investing in them today. The Rhode Island Rebounds Placemaking Program supports our state's tourism, our hospitality, and events industries, drawing visitors to districts and businesses that were impacted by the pandemic. It's all about bringing people back together in places that are meant to serve as hubs of activity and enthusiasm. Barnaby tells me he's got the biggest water fire of the season coming up. Let's get out there and support that. In a state like Rhode Island, our size is to our advantage. You can be in beaches in South County, like I was on the Bay Day the other day, in the morning, and on Federal Hill for dinner at night. At Newport, you can take the boat that goes from Newport to Providence, both ways. We are connected as a state, and we want to keep it that way. We want people to capitalize on the ability that you can be anywhere in Rhode Island in just about an hour. It's an attraction for all of us to bring people from out of state to make sure that they enjoy our wonderful state. And what we're doing today is helping that. I'm proud of the 31 projects that will receive the $3 million in grants. And looking over the list, these are deserving candidates that will utilize their dollars to make Rhode Island a bucket list state. For people that live in our state, they should be seeking out other destinations, and people who live outside our state or outside our state or into other countries, this is a place where we want people to come. And we'll be announcing very shortly a nice expansion in the airport as well, which is part of the whole destination strategy that we're putting in. First time that we've actually put budget in for marketing for destination in our airport, which is the third in the top 3 most friendly to travelers in the country. This is where we are in Rhode Island right now. So these are projects like outdoor music venues and performance stages, public and art installations, and multi-day festivals that will bring together hundreds, if not thousands, not just from across the 39 cities and towns, but from all over the world, all over the country. These are the kinds of destinations that draw in visitors to our state and make people want to come to Rhode Island over and over again and to live in Rhode Island. And we're attracting people every day that are understanding how great Rhode Island is to live in, and they're moving here. And we need them to move here because we have the lowest unemployment rate in the state's history, and we still have really good paying jobs that are still available for people. We're excited about the future of Rhode Island, and to be able to share that with leaders that are here today, their excitement. That's what I mean when we say Rhode Island has momentum. It's been stressful, but we are moving at a rapid pace in the right direction. And the reason that we are moving in that is because of the leadership that's around the state of Rhode Island, in our businesses, in our nonprofits, in our arts. We're really excited about showing off this state in a really positive way. Now it's time to keep our foot, right down to the pedal here. Not giving up any. This is not a time for a timeout. This is not time for a timeout to reassess. We have what we need. We need to keep this going for the next several years, exactly the way we have the momentum going at the moment. So I thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Rick to kind of do further introductions. I don't know if we missed anybody on here, but I know we have Mayor Rivera, Mayor De Silva, Patrick Hanna from East Providence, David Barak from East Providence, Brian Rosso, Town Manager of Hopkinton, Michael Spellman, Senior Planning Clerk in Hopkinton, along with Kathleen Fletcher from the Executive Artistic Director for First Works, Marissa Hutton from First Works, Erin Devon Boyle, Executive Director of the Greater Chamber of Commerce down in Newport, which I get down to quite often, Randy Rossi, who's really a champion for small businesses in the town of Smithfield, Louis Bishop, President, South County Tourism, along with Meg Rigo, Director of Resource Development and Communications of Neighborhoods. You can see that these are the people who actually are recipients and who have actually responded to this $3 million grants all around the state of Rhode Island. Thank you so much for your leadership. With that, Rick, I'll give the microphone back to you. Thank you. Senator Miller, right there.
So as part of this, to the side of me, we got 2 performing arts pieces. And Federal Hill, what we're using some of our grant for is our Christmas on the Hill programs. And I know many of you, Kathleen does amazing performing arts programs. So this is part of what we wanted to highlight, because this is some of what you'll see, these pop-up performers that we have to make Federal Hill lively during the holiday season. So I'm very excited. I want to welcome 1031 Productions for being here for us. That being said, the Lieutenant Governor knows Providence extremely well. She's been a huge supporter of our city and now a huge supporter of our state as a whole. The work she's doing has been invaluable. Her small business outreach has been invaluable. So I'm proud to call her friend and welcome her today.
Thank you, Rick. Good morning. I'm so glad to be back here in Federal Hill. We were here recently for dinner, and it's always good to come to Federal Hill and enjoy the beautiful ambience that we have here and enjoy the great restaurant that we have. As a longtime resident of the city, a former city councilor to Providence, I have always loved Federal Hill and the Pasquale Square. In this year, the year since I became Lieutenant Governor, I have been amazed for the opportunities that I had to visit places throughout the state of Rhode Island that give that special identity to every community. Visiting the 39 cities and towns, seeing what is available and what we can promote. I have taken it as my initiative to make sure that I connect the Chief Marketing Officer, Anika Huntley, with every community. Poor Anika, I keep calling her all the time and sending her contacts. But I'm making sure that every community in the state of Rhode Island is participant of this initiative, making sure that we know what is happening in your community, that we are making sure that it's added to the website, visitrhodeisland.com, because we're making the state of Rhode Island a destination for people here within the United States, but also for people outside of the country that are going to come and visit. So I want to make sure that whatever is happening in your community is part of what we're promoting for the state of Rhode Island through the Visit Rhode Island website. If you have not contact them, if you don't have your events that happen in your community as part of what we're promoting, make sure that we do it. And I'm going to continue visiting all 39 cities and towns, making sure that I bring that information and that I put you in contact with what is happening in the promotion of the state of Rhode Island. But it's great to be here to celebrate this investment in placemaking, making sure that we are promoting every community and everything that they have to offer. I feel fortunate to have this opportunity to be an ambassador for not just for Providence, but now I have the opportunity to be an ambassador for every community of the state of Rhode Island. And I want to thank the governor for prioritizing investing in our tourism and hospitality industry, which is so key to the state of Rhode Island economy. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Rick Simone. Thank you, Rick.
So when these programs were all discussed, when the governor proposed these programs and it was being pitched to the House and to the Senate, it was a task. The governor, it took some time. We worked on it really hard. A lot of us made either presentations, wrote letters, or testified in person to get to this point for both the Take It Outside grants that existed and the placemakers. Filling these grants out, applying for them, and also following all the rules that are required to go with them is not an easy task. And I want to acknowledge some of the people before I bring up Senator Miller, because this segues into him and his support for it. But David Dadakian, who was on the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition, someone that testified consistently and constantly for this. Armando Biseglia, who's our chairman of the board for the Federal Commerce Association, was constantly being dragged into this stuff. And I also want to say something about the mayors and the town administrators and town manager that are here, because the vision required to plan for these things, to make these activities happen in your areas, is no small feat, and it does require vision. So I congratulate all of you and everyone else that's received these awards today. And Senator Miller did get calls from all of us to support this, and it was an easy win because he gets it and it's from our Zooms, you understand. So with that, I'll bring up the Senator.
So I am here representing legislators, senators, and representatives. And having a partner, whether it's at Commerce, on Federal Hill, or through the governor's office, is key. Many of us have been touting the importance and the economic driver that arts and culture, tourism and hospitality is for any state, especially a state with as many resources for tourism and hospitality as Rhode Island has. And then we had COVID, and we were doing all that work before COVID, but then there was no sector more hurt by COVID than tourism and hospitality, arts and culture, performance art. So COVID was really devastating. And this is an important, the funding mechanism is called Rebound. And that's for a really important reason, is that one of Rhode Island's most valuable resources was really hurt more than probably any other sector in the economy. And it needs a rebound. And it needs a rebound statewide. And what this represents, if you look at those who got the grants, is a list of people from throughout Rhode Island. This is not a Federal Hill program. This is not a downtown program. This is not just the performing arts. This is not just arts and culture. it's bringing it outside like on steroids. And so it's really, really important for people to understand that this whole sector is very fragile.
Well done. Well done.
And it's very fragile. It's on its tiptoes. It needs help from government. There have been nonprofits there have been philanthropy that have helped us, but it needs to be more consistent and throughout. And this is really going to help Rhode Island to go back to where it should have been before COVID, and coming out of COVID. It's really important. And I do want to thank a lot of those groups that worked towards this effort, especially as a restaurant owner myself, and those who had our back throughout the state. The Rhode Island Hospitality Association worked really hard throughout COVID, as did the Rhode Island Foundation. The Providence Foundation is one of the grantees for programming, and Waterfire, making sure that the moment it was safe, and they were really careful and responsible not to have it a moment earlier. And I think if you look, a lot of the programs that we have in this, it's towards the same goal. Because I know people that, I have staff, about 10% of my staff is still out because of COVID as we speak today. We're still fragile. And so these groups worked through us, and I think Waterfire is an example. The CVB is an incredible example of working with us through COVID, and the Providence Warwick Visitors Bureau should be congratulated for their work throughout COVID also, to make sure we're safe and remind the whole economy that this sector was what we always knew, needed the help, had a return on investment, and will make us attractive and thriving going forward. Thank you.
So as I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Secretary now, Ms. Tanner, there was times throughout the pandemic where many of the organizations that Senator Miller was just mentioning that we would be on the phone with Secretary Tanner at midnight and then back on the phone at 6 a.m. the next morning, working through all the challenges and things that we all face to try to make things managed safely, but still bring us back in a productive way, in a way that had some return on investment. So I can't thank her enough for her leadership in her former position, and I already know what she's doing in this position. Your team in just 2-3 weeks has been tremendous, tremendous. So I'd like to introduce Secretary Tanner.
And he's not kidding. We were on the phone at midnight and then 6 o'clock in the morning. My husband used to say, I think you talk to Rick more than you talk to me sometimes. So thank you, Rick, for the nice introduction, and a very special thanks for hosting today on Federal Hill to announce these very special awards. We went through a lot during the pandemic together, and I just can't thank him enough for the working relationship that we were able to establish, and you've become a friend as well. Your advocacy has made a real difference in the hospitality industry and continues to bounce back from the devastating effects of the pandemic. And we are starting to see the fruits of your labor as our economy continues to recover at a rapid pace. I think you've all heard, according to Moody's, the rating agency which publishes the Back to Normal Index, Rhode Island has consistently been the first in the nation, in the Northeast, in our recovery, and often in the top 10 in the entire nation. And in June, Rhode Island saw its lowest unemployment rate on record ever. I also want to send a big thanks to Governor McKee, Lieutenant Governor Matos, Speaker Shikarchi, Senator President Ruggiero, and of course Senator Miller here, for their leadership in proposing and passing the Rhode Island Rebounds package that these funds, that the grant programs came from. And as we all know, the pandemic has been a tremendous challenge for our state. Nevertheless, Rhode Island's resilience has enabled the state to recover from the pandemic at a very rapid pace. On contrary, what we've seen in past recessions is that Rhode Island's always been slow to respond, not this time. And despite this progress, we know our recovery remains uneven, with some industries being impacted more severely than others. The tourism, hospitality, and events industry has been hit especially hard, losing over 37,000 jobs in the first few months of the pandemic alone. After a summer of 2020 small recovery, then the Omicron and Delta variants again put an additional strain on the businesses in these industries, which is one of the main reasons for the placemaking program, to bring much needed support to the hospitality, tourism, and events industry in Rhode Island. So this grant program supports outdoor and public space capital improvements and event programming. The projects funded under this initiative will draw visitors to impacted districts and subsequently support businesses in the tourism and hospitality industries across the entire state. Today we celebrate 32 very creative proposals, from municipalities improving public infrastructure, to festivals, events, and concerts, to outdoor salsa nights and holiday celebrations. There is something here for every Rhode Islander to enjoy. The exciting work put forward in these 32 projects receiving funding today will help bring visitors to our communities and customers to businesses in the hospitality industry. Thank you to the municipalities, commerce associations, tourism councils, nonprofits, arts associations, and all of our elected leaders and municipal leaders today who put forward such strong proposals and will help realize such exciting projects for the state. We look forward to your continued success. Thank you.
Rep, where is he? Rep Memorial? Come on up, sir. Representative Memorial?
Yeah, just, I mean, you were a big help there representing all the small business issues. And I just wanted to give back to you that I represent the House here. You can't do it, you have to have the House, the Senate, and the Governor. You have to have the three in the same spot at the same time.
I appreciate the house is in the house, yes. And it's my pleasure to be here. East Providence is a beneficiary of this, including a place in my district, which is Riverside Square, which will be revitalized under this effort. I was proud to support this in the House. I was proud to work with David on this, and I'm proud to be here today. You know, the arts and revitalization outside spaces are really important to the fabric of our lives in Rhode Island, and I'm honored to be here, and I'm pleased we're doing this. Thank you, Governor. Thank you.
So just as we close it out, one of the things that has been echoed here is about the impact of this, and I think that 1031 is a great example of this. Other arts organizations, the economic impact is felt way beyond what these grants do. The amount of people that this employs, the amount of people that are hired to do these jobs, whether it's infrastructure work, whether it's decorating and lighting, whether it's the performers, this has a huge impact above and beyond this. So just want to mention as we close it out, thank you all for coming on this hot day. At least we had a breeze. Enjoy your weekend.
Rick. Yep. Rick and the governor. So good. Can you guys fix the lighting problem? Just one moment. Yep. Can you guys fix the lighting problem on the street here? Because that's the number one. I mean, I don't care about the Christmas stuff. It's about the safety of the people that come to Federal Hill.
The governor was up here 2 weeks ago. We did another quick walkthrough, and we're actually doing a walkthrough again today. The governor's commitment has stayed solid on the lighting program. We are still waiting to finalize the commitment on the city side. To be very truthful, that's where we're at. It is a work in progress. Nothing in this situation tends to happen quickly. We have discovered that the footprint for the lighting needs to stay exactly as it is, which is part of our holdup. But the governor has stayed true to his commitment.
Got a question.
Something to say about that?
Well, only that we walked through here last year and this year, and we know that we want to enhance all our areas in the state. This is an area that's really a go-to spot, and so the lighting is important. So I have made a commitment to work with the city to put some state funds in and move along with some city funds, and I think the project will happen. I don't know when, but as soon as I can make it happen, we're ready to put Rhode Island state money in here. And again, just like we are around the state of Rhode Island, I want to make this very clear, whether it's in Pawtucket, or whether it's in Galilee, or East Providence, or Providence, we're going to continue to invest in communities. North Kingstown, we're going to invest in communities where it matters. That's what project that I believe that needs attention, and I'll provide that attention as soon as we get word from the city that they're ready to go.
Quick question for Mayor Rivera. Yeah. Mayor Rivera, you've got a big event coming up in Central Falls. Restaurants and
we have Restaurant Week and Salsa Night. So Restaurant Week starts August 26th. It's the same day that we're going to have Salsa Night, which is huge for the city after Central Falls being hit the hardest with COVID. It's extremely important to start getting the community back out and helping our businesses in the city. We usually have food trucks, but this year we're asking our businesses to sell their own food at this event to try to bring people together and at the same time support our small businesses. So I want to give a special thank you to Governor McKee and Ms. Tanner from Commerce for supporting us with this.
And this is this Central Falls' first sort of restaurant night week on its own?
Yes.
And that-
because we always have Restaurant Week and Salsa Night, but never together. So we're starting the same day, so it's going to be huge.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and last one over to 6.
Question for the Gov based on today. Coming out of the pandemic, I know you mentioned it in your speech there. Coming out of COVID, is tourism at the level you expected at this time, or do you think there's still a ways to go as of right now?
I think that's the best question for our tourism councils, but what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is that we're on a rebound, and certain communities are rebounding quicker than others, but we are definitely on a rebound. And these investments we're making today are only going to continue that momentum that is provided by leadership and throughout the state of Rhode Island and in the tourism area.
All right, thank you, everybody.